My friends, I am a happy man today, and I don't mind telling you why. I think you know why. I think you know why I'm happy today, my friends, because I believe in truth. Truth the first time, not truth when you're forced to admit the truth. We're going to be talking about Matt Lauer and liberal hypocrisy. First, let's go here to this liberal hypocrisy. Item from InfoWars. Actual descendant to Pocahontas, Debbie White Dove Pareco, defended President Trump's use of the name Pocahontas in reference to Senator Elizabeth Warren in a September interview. Pareco explained that Trump had asked her if she was offended by his use of the term in an interview with Sky News. Quote, I know he uses Pocahontas sometimes with Elizabeth Warren, Pareco explained. He said, well, does that offend you when I use that? And I told him, no, it doesn't offend me. If Pocahontas were alive today, she would be very proud of President Trump, Pareco said. Just like Pocahontas was a heroine, Donald Trump is going to be our hero. I'm a supporter of Donald Trump because he's a go-getter, she added. He sees what he needs to do and does it. Sometimes when I'm dining at Mar-a-Lago, I think to myself, you've come a long way from that Indian reservation you started in, she said. Pocahontas had dreams and went to England. My dreams brought me to Palm Beach. Unquote. So the overriding theme today, my friends, is going to be liberal hypocrisy. Not just because it's so much fun to talk about, but because it's so prevalent you can hardly avoid it these days. Here is Debbie White Dove Pareco, who is an actual descendant of Pocahontas. She is a Native American. She's not in the least offended by the use of the name Pocahontas. But when you ask Elizabeth Warren, who is a faux-Pocahontas, who is a fake Indian who lied about being part Native American in order to get a position at Harvard, well, she's in the huff. She's all upset. You listen to liberal commentators on TV, Pocahontas is now a racial slur, according to them. Well, this great-great-granddaughter of Pocahontas is not offended in the least. In fact, she's a Trump supporter. So there go all the make-believe Native American supporters. All the people who are arbiters in our society about what is and is not acceptable. They're frauds and they're phonies. Who would have guessed that? What a shocker. And when we come back from our first break, we're going to be talking about Matt Lauer, Garrison Keillor, Charlie Rose, and all the other happy hypocrites on the left who are only too happy to tell you what's wrong with you while they themselves are immoral animals. It's Riell Truth. Go nowhere.
We people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution.
American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little ones at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228. Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver. It's not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
All right, guys, let's get into it, because there's a lot to get into. Howard Riell, Riell Truth, you're in the right place for a blast of truth-telling. Item from Breitbart. Here we go. To the surprise of absolutely no one, the very same mainstream media that attempted to disqualify then-presidential candidate Mitt Romney in 2012 over the phrase, binders full of women, the very same media that grinded Republican Senate candidate Todd Akin into dust over something he said, appears to be itself a depraved institution populated by powerful abusers and their enablers. Over the past 2 months, a number of powerful men have been fired or placed on suspension over allegations of sexual misconduct, horrific behavior that ranges from masturbating in front of female subordinates to pay for play. And time and again, we hear the words, everybody knew. You read that correctly. According to those within this wicked institution, everyone knew and did nothing. There's no question there's a cancer of abuse and enabling within our elite media, an institution that through its unceasing fake news and hypocrisy on matters such as these has deservedly lost all public trust and moral authority. Any more questions about why the media, along with Harvey, would want to disarm us? Below are the names of the accused so far. Please keep in mind what the elite media itself does not when a Republican is involved, then unless otherwise noted, these only stand as allegations. Number 16, Garrison Keillor, national public radio icon, fired over allegations of inappropriate behavior. Matt Lauer, NBC News anchor, fired for sexual misconduct. Charlie Rose, CBS PBS news anchor, fired over numerous allegations of harassment, misconduct, and groping. Glenn Thrush, New York Times White House correspondent, on suspension over multiple allegations of harassment and unwanted touching. Mark Halperin, Bloomberg NBC News commentator, fired over numerous allegations of sexual misconduct, unwanted sexual touching. Lockhart Steele, editorial director of Vox Media, fired over allegation of sexual harassment. Unnamed employee at Vox Media resigned over allegations of sexual harassment. David Korn, MSNBC contributor, Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones, multiple accusations of sexual misconduct, unwanted touching. Michael Oreskes, senior vice president, editorial director at NPR, numerous allegations of sexual misconduct. Leon Wieseltier, 3 decades as literary editor at The New Republic, numerous allegations of sexual harassment. Hamilton Fish, publisher of The New Republic, numerous allegations of sexual harassment. Matt Taibbi of Rolling Stone confessed in nonfiction memoir to the sexual abuse and the enabling of the abuse of female staffers. Now says he made it all up. Stop. Let me pause here for a second, my friend, because few people have been as vocal and vociferous in their attacks on Donald Trump as my friend Matt Taibbi. Maybe Matt ought to buy a mirror and look into it. Jan Wenner, Rolling Stone owner, accused of sexual misconduct. Ian Pryor, senior editor at The Guardian, allegations of sexual harassment and groping. An unnamed Guardian employee, allegations of sexual harassment and groping. And last but not least, Matt Sullivan of The Guardian, fired over allegations of sexual misconduct and what's that? Yep, groping. My friends, each of these people is a liberal. They put their liberal views out on the airwaves and in writing. They slant the news to make liberalism look better than it is, and they are all, allegedly, creeps and lowlives. But the fun continues. Related item from page 6. Matt Lauer allegedly sexually assaulted a female NBC staffer during the Sochi Winter Olympics in 2014, sources told page 6. An NBC insider said Lauer's alleged victim complained to Human Resources on Monday. This happened so quickly. She didn't go to the media. She made a complaint to NBC's Human Resources, and her evidence was so compelling that Matt was fired on Tuesday night. The victim says she has evidence that this has also happened to other women, but so far we don't have evidence of that. Unquote. Related item. Dateline, St. Paul, Minnesota. Minnesota Public Radio is terminating its contracts with Garrison Keillor and his private media companies after recently learning of allegations of his inappropriate behavior with an individual who worked for him. Last month, NPR was notified of the allegations, which relate to Mr. Keeler's conduct while he was responsible for the production of a Prairie Home Companion. NPR President John McTaggart immediately informed the NPR board chair, and a special board committee was appointed to provide oversight and ongoing counsel. In addition, NPR retained an outside law firm to conduct an independent investigation of the allegations. Based on what we currently know, there are no similar allegations involving other staff. Unquote. My friends, there is nothing better, nothing more sweet, more delicious, nothing we enjoy relishing more than watching those who deserve it get it. I am sick to death with hearing liberals in the media, in politics, talk about Donald Trump. Oh, he's so rough. He uses such terrible language. He treats women like garbage. Only problem with that is that it's not true. Women who've worked with Trump for years came forward during the campaign and said Mr. Trump has always been a perfect gentleman. Does Donald Trump sometimes talk like he's in a locker room? Yeah. So what? So do I. So do almost all guys. If women don't know that, well, okay, women don't know that. But that's how men talk. That's how Donald Trump talks. I don't hire people to run companies or to work for me or to run the country because of the words they use. Actions speak louder than words. Trump says things that people don't like. Here are all these liberal cretins and misfits who are, allegedly, doing things, groping, exposing themselves. We haven't even talked about John Conyers. Liberal hypocrisy. They don't mind telling you what's wrong with you and what's wrong with your opinions and your viewpoints and your values. Meanwhile, they themselves are garbage. So let's dial back the preaching from the left. As far as I can tell, the left has nothing to teach America, either in the way of values, the way of politics and policy. The left is dead weight in this country, and that's why all the Democrats in the House and the Senate are sitting on their hands doing nothing to help make things better for Americans. We'll be back.
Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Power systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility backup systems that custom-tailored capabilities is not a all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. Service everything we sell. Provide and design turnkey packages, custom design systems, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to greatplainsolar.com.
The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. The people he has chosen as his own inheritance. Psalm 33, verses 10 through 12.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America's News Network.
All right, my friends, welcome back to Riell Truth. Let's talk a little bit more about Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, or actually Focahontas, the make-believe Indian who claimed that she was 16th Native American, which was enough to get her hired by the liberal nitwits and pinheads at Harvard, and enough to get her hired by the voters of her state to be in the Senate. So you see what liberals have found, that lying does pay. Here is Sean Hannity absolutely roasting Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren.
Or something President Trump said in the White House during the Native American and World War II. President Trump had fun. Been proven to have lied about the Native American.
We just switched to Ben Shapiro, by the way, also talking about Pocahontas. So, my friends, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, says that Pocahontas is a racial slur. Well, it's not. It's a name. And as I told you at the very beginning of the show today, Pocahontas' descendant, I don't know, it was a great-great-granddaughter or something like that, says it's not a racial slur. She's fine with it, and she likes Donald Trump. But I guess Elizabeth Warren is a more legitimate Indian, and so she must know better than a direct descendant of Pocahontas herself, right? You're getting this liberal thought process? All right, my friends, you see what's happening here, and I've been telling you this for a long time, and you probably knew it without me telling you. Liberals come from this direction of do as I say, not as I do. Now, think back over your life experience. Have you ever respected anyone who said, do as I say, not as I do? People who are worthy of respect are people who walk their talk, who live the values that they propound. Liberals don't. Elizabeth Warren wants to be president. Well, she may be president of a lemonade stand someday if she works hard. Never going to be president of this country because people realize she is a fool, a liar, and a buffoon, not to be taken seriously. Item. From Bloomberg, the U.S. economy's growth rate last quarter was revised upward to the fastest in 3 years on stronger investment from business and government agencies than previously estimated, Commerce Department data showed on Wednesday. Barack Obama, during 8 years in the White House, never managed to hit 3% growth. Donald Trump has been president less than a year, and we're already up to 3.3% GDP growth. Do you understand that this is given the forces against him? The Congress and the Senate are against him. His Democrats are against him. His own Republicans are mostly against him. The media is against him. Liberal America is against him. The huge corporations are against him. And he still managed to accomplish in less than a year what Barack Obama couldn't do in 8 years. Absolutely amazing. So let's all say together, 1, 2, 3, thank you, President Trump. Item from InfoWars. U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis said Wednesday North Korea's new intercontinental ballistic missile can essentially reach anywhere in the world. According to Mattis, the Hwasong-15 missile went higher, frankly, than any previous shots. The bottom line is it's a continued effort to build a threat, a ballistic missile threat that endangers world peace, regional peace, and certainly the United States, Mattis said. My friends, all this is true. It's also true of Iran, which is also racing to get a nuclear arsenal prepared. So if we have every tool on the table to deal with North Korea, and we're threatening to destroy Pyongyang, why aren't we also threatening to destroy Tehran? Better question, why haven't we already destroyed Tehran? Item. In the Associated Press, a fight broke out of the speech being held at the University of Connecticut on Tuesday night. UConn's College Republican student group was sponsoring the appearance entitled It's Okay to Be White, featuring 29-year-old conservative commentator Lucian Wintrich. Wintrich is the White House correspondent for the right-wing blog Gateway Pundit, which said the talk would be about identity politics in today's cultural and political landscape. During the speech, a fight broke out and officers removed Wintrich from the room. News 8's Mario Boone reports that windows were broken amid the chaos and that officers arrested Wintrich for allegedly assaulting a student who grabbed his speech off the podium. A student, 19-year-old Sean Miller of Glastonbury, was arrested on breach of peace charges for allegedly breaking windows as people were leaving the event. A smoke bomb also was thrown inside the auditorium and is being investigated. Unquote. So my friends, tell me, who is it that goes to a meeting, a talk, a lecture, and begins destroying things and beating people up? Well, let's make it a multiple choice thing. It's Mongolians. No. B, it's the Romans. C, it's liberals. You know the answer. Item. From the Associated Press, Dateline, Bristol, Connecticut, ESPN is eliminating 150 production and technical employees as the sports broadcasting giant continues to shift its focus to a more digital future. The company says the layoffs, which were announced Wednesday morning in a memo to employees, don't include on-air talent and will have a minimal impact on the network's signature Sports Center news program. Stop. My friends, ESPN is as you well know, a liberal institution, which explains why they're showing just about no signs of intelligent life. ESPN decided, you know what? We're going to get political because we want people to like us. And we're going to be left-leaning politically because we want people to like us. And so fewer people than ever like ESPN. The ratings are plummeting. Ad revenue is dropping. They continue to lay people off. Good job, ESPN. Way to be smart. Item. From the College Fix, Brown University to allow students to self-identify as persons of color. Brown University is implementing a change to its graduate school application that will allow applicants to, quote, self-identify as persons of color. Multiple efforts by the College Fix to clarify the details of this change were ignored by campus officials. Stop. So, my friends, if you're, I don't know, Caucasian, you decide you want to be Asian, all you got to do is fill out a piece of paper, give it to Brown University, and they'll say, okay, you're Asian. If you're black and you want to be white, just fill out a piece of paper. Guess what? You're white. If you're a chicken and you want to be a turkey, you get the idea, right? All right, we'll be back with more Real Truth.
Want to buy or more different supplements? Please stop. Simplify your supplement kitchen with Phyto Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Women, children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Phyto Superfood from BioAge.com, and now they just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Phyto Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with more of the most nutritive algae found on Earth. Phyto Superfood for the brain with focus. If you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Phyto Superfood has zero toxicity and is able to use and order your Phyto Superfood formulas at BioAge.com. Spell BioAge.com, BioAge.com, or call 877-288-9116. 877-288-9116. BioAge. Grid-putting power has been providing reliable electrical power in Rocky Mountain area since 1990. Our systems rely on the sun to make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled within any distribution. From complete power independence to power for the truth. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility and backup systems as well. Custom tailored capabilities and modest emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to greatplainsolar.com. And before it became legend and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness, cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. The people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
My friends, you know Dinesh D'Souza, conservative author, filmmaker. He gave a speech recently at Liberty University, which was so good, I want you to hear part of it. Here we go.
Very much. Wow, this is amazing. I want to congratulate you, not just on Liberty's athletic victories, but also on being one of the few remaining open-minded colleges in America. And imagine the prospect of a Even if we stayed with quasi-coup, it's warranted. Because anything would have been warranted to get Hitler out of there before he could turn into Hitler. This notion that fascism and Nazism are phenomena of the right, they are somehow right-wing. This notion won't predates Trump. It actually goes back to World War II.
All right, friends, I'm going to stop there because we're about to hit a break. Don't worry, when we come back, we'll go right back to Dinesh D'Souza item from Michael Snyder at the Economic Collapse blog. This is why North Korea's test of an intercontinental ballistic missile is so important. North Korea has test fired a total of 22 missiles so far this year, but this latest one showed that nobody on the globe is out of their reach. In fact, General Mattis is now admitting, quote, North Korea can basically threaten everywhere in the world, and that includes the entire continental United States, unquote. So, my friends, I say we make North Korea go bye-bye. What do you think? Let's take a break. We'll be back. More Real Truth.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Earth.
Well, it had to happen. Colorado legalized marijuana. Most people thought the Green Earth was a marijuana dispensary. Also, it was legalized on January 1st, 2014. The same day we opened our new location at 4565 Gibbon Street, 1.5 blocks south of I-7. There are 83,000 cars a day passing in front of our new location on Gibbon Street, and most of them thought we were a marijuana dispensary. So we changed the name of our retail store to New Genesis Health, but we kept the name of our Green Earth Supplement. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-EARTH. That's 888-765-4372. And be sure to listen to the Healthy Nature Show with the every Tuesday at 1 p.m.
Now this is the testimony of John, the Jews and recently Levites from Jerusalem that asked him, Who are you? He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, I am not the Messiah. And they asked him once again, Are you Elijah? He said, I am not. Are you a prophet? And he answered, No. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21.
No one anywhere is more noble, righteous, perfect, and courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women are there. Put the bill for our freedom every day in the military should fight to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the Associate at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 387 in Lafayette. They're on the air because they care.
My friends, we're getting a real education here from Dinesh D'Souza. All the infamies, all the racism on the left, they say belongs on the right, but it's a lie. It's the big lie. And here's Dinesh D'Souza teaching the folks at Liberty University what the truth actually is. Let's pick up right where we left off.
When, in a sense, the big lie was concocted. It was manufactured. Now, what I would call the big lie, the big lie was actually used by Adolf Hitler. And Hitler made a point that small lies were actually kind of easy to catch. The trouble in Benghazi was to do a video. Small lie. Easy to catch. If you want to keep your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Small lie. Easy to catch. But big lies, Hitler said, are so large.
And my friends, by the way, let me jump in. That's why people still chuckle when you talk about 9/11. All right, my friends, we're going to stop there. Dinesh D'Souza has a book out for a few months called The Big Lie. It's excellent. Do yourselves a favor. Get a copy. Read it. It's beautiful. Listen to Dinesh D'Souza on YouTube. He is a brilliant guy, and we need to listen to brilliant people. Item from Breitbart London. The European Union remains committed to giving and is in the later stages of securing Turkish citizens visa-free travel to the bloc, as well as handing an extra 3 billion euros to migrants in the nation by next year, a commissioner has said. The EU's Commissioner for Migration, Dimitri Avramopoulos, explained all elements of the migrant deal with Turkey were moving ahead after Turkey agreed to stem the tide of Middle Eastern migrants in return for billions in aid and the opening of Europe's borders to Turks. He made the comments to Turkish paper Hürriyet ahead of a visit to the nation. In the Turkish language version, he's quoted, according to a rough translation, as saying the deal is, quote, on the last level, unquote. Well, that's good, my friends, because the European Union is also headed for the last level. We'll be back.
Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfoods, the most advanced nutritional wholesome supplement you can buy. Children, even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfoods from BioAge.com. And now they just one nutritional supplement instead of the Bio Superfood formulas are wholesome products developed with over the most nutritive algae found on Earth. Bio Superfoods with focus, liberty, and food. You can increase brain health, the rest of the body. No worker, and zero toxicity and stable human fat. And order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioAge.com. Spell BioAge.com. BioAge.com. Or call 877-288-9116. And of His fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, He has declared Him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. We look at the blocker button and remind ourselves that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early age. We want to applaud the youngsters in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples for the peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from the Little Locker plant located at 366 Grand Street in Liverpool, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized HB and pork and complete custom process. Call for 688-2246, 688-2246.
Item from the Daily Wire. Trinity College Dublin has eliminated the title freshman in the name of gender equality, electing to go with fresh. According to the Independent, the school announced the change in an email from the Vice Provost Chris Morash and Student Union President Kevin King, saying the Equality Committee decided that, quote, the title given to first and second year undergraduate students be changed from freshman to the gender-neutral term fresh, unquote. My friends, the irony is electrifying. The dumbest people in the world are the people in education. It's incredible. Freshman, you see, is an insult to women. Do you get it? This is the kind of brainless identity politics with which the left is obsessed, and why we should never, ever vote for anyone on the left. Item also from the Daily Wire. Radical Muslims attacked a Somali widow and her 3 children in their home on the outskirts of Nairobi, Kenya, earlier this month over their Christian faith. The sons, aged 13 and 21, and daughter, aged 17, were seriously injured in the attack. Morning Star News reports the attack took place after the family returned home from a funeral. Hadia, who requested her children remain anonymous for security reasons, arrived home on November 11th. Her children had gone to bed when a group of men began banging on the door. Despite attempts to keep the invaders at bay, the radical Muslims managed to break into the house. Unquote. My friends, I don't want you to worry about this item. It could not happen to you, so forget it. Well, I mean, unless you live in a home. And, if you have children, and I suppose if you live in a town where there are Muslims, well, then it could happen to you. Then I'd be scared spitless if I were you. But aside from those things, no big deal. Item. From the Holy New York Times, once again, it could all come down to Senator John McCain. After sinking his party's hopes of repealing the Affordable Care Act this year with a dramatic thumbs-down vote, the fate of a tax overhaul may now sit in the hands of the Republican from Arizona. In recent days, McCain has been fairly tight-lipped about his views on the tax proposal speeding through the Senate, saying he sees some problems with the existing bill but is waiting for a final plan before making a decision. Asked about what concerned him about the Senate tax bill this week, Mr. McCain replied tersely, quote, "a lot of things," unquote. My friends, let's be honest and let's be blunt. Mr. McCain is going to be dead soon. He's old. He's very sick. He's losing his mental faculties. Here's a picture of him in the Times in the wheelchair. He's going to be gone soon. He wants a legacy. Well, it's certainly not going to be a legacy of intelligence. And it's certainly not going to be a legacy of patriotism, despite his service in the military and his 5 years in the Hanoi Hotel. John McCain is selling out his voters, selling out the state of Arizona, selling out America. Why? Well, because Donald Trump insulted him. Now, you remember when your kids were small and someone insulted him or her, you said, just let it go. Sticks and stones might break my bones. Words will never hurt me. You got to grow up a little bit. Okay, John McCain needs to grow up. He's angry at Donald Trump, and so he's going to vote against the measure again. Also, he wants a legacy, and he figures that continuing in this vein will get him a legacy, and it will. He's right. After John McCain is dead, people refer to him as a rectum, as a fool, as a doddering old jackass who let the Republican Party down, let his constituents down, and let America down. And that's all you really have to know about John McCain. I'll be back tomorrow, my friends. I hope you will too. Hasta luego.